What's going on, guys? This is Jason of Auglitical. I swim through the politics so you don't drown too. I'm just a man trying to bring common sense in a world where common sense isn't so common. So I'm checking out the New York Post, just looking at some stuff real quick, just to see what's going on. Spineless New York school board meetings descended to chaos over LGBTQ, whatever the hell it is, LGHDTV books as parents voice outrage. Um, I mean, is it surprising at all? I mean, this is not surprising. Come on, get out of here. I don't care about the thing at the top. Get out of here. I don't want to learn nothing. Go away. Anyway, what is it? A larger animated crowd of parents gathered in a Monroe County auditorium on Tuesday and voiced their concerns to the superintendent and Pennsfield School Board about their young children having access to the book, a rainbow parade, a celebration of LGBTQRA. Again, these people, they claim to be victims, and at the same time, they demand more and more ground. It doesn't make any type of sense at all. They demand that you play into their delusions. Mind you, these people act like as though they're being hunted in the middle of the streets, being dragged off into the gulags, bleeding nails into the goddamn concrete. This is not happening at all. Well, let me just read a little bit about this. I'm interested. A controversial book tells the story of a young girl and her two mothers attending an LGBT parade and follows a child who is exploring their gender identity. Okay, let's just whatever. Bandy announces suit against New York, Hochu, and State AG over sanctuary status. Okay, sure. Um, Idaho murder suspects Brian Kohlberger's defense attorneys hope bombshell new evidence could see him walk free. I don't know anything about that. What the Shell Taco Bell security guard brutally slashed female customer. Oh, she jumped up and hit him. Oh, damn. Okay. Mother shoots four young daughters, killing three, then turns gun on herself and murder suicide. What the hell was that about? Abusive relationship or what is this, bro? What are these ads? Get out of here. I don't want to see these ads. Get out of here. Um, come on. Three young girls are dead and another in a serious condition after their mother shot them in the head and then turned the gun on herself in Wyoming's authorities said. The mom called 911 on Monday afternoon to report that her four daughters had been shot in the home in Bighorn County, the local sheriff said. What did she do it? Why did she do it? 34-year-old Taran Harshman, who police say shot her four daughters and herself. The woman, who local media later identified as 32, okay, told the dispatcher there was girls where the girls was located in the house before abruptly ending the call. When officers arrived, they discovered the three girls with gunshot wounds to their head, along with their mother, who apparently turned the gun on herself. Only one of the girls, a 7-year-old, survived. Her three sisters, 9-year-old, a 2-year-old, a 9-year-old, and two 2-year-olds, less than a year apart. Why did she do it though? Harshman was found alive but later succumbed to her wounds. Police are still investigating the circumstances behind the tragedy, but Harshman's husband, Cliff Hirschman, told Cowboy State Daily that his wife had been receiving treatment for severe mental health issues, including PTSD. Again, so she had been receiving treatment for mental health issues, including PTSD and postpartum depression. You know what? My wife is not a monster. He said that most people don't understand how that affects the brain. Okay, well, look, I'm not going to say anything more about that. It's terrible. Honestly, at first glance, I thought that this was just one of those cases of them actually reporting a story of a woman losing her mind. But in this case, I have no words. That's a tragedy. What else we got going on in the New York Post? Trump administration is showing itself as a child friendly and friendly invested in the next generation. Sweet. What a difference 3 years makes. Time to get realistic with Ukraine. With Trump now in power, yeah. Now they know. Now they know. By axing Alvin Bragg, Hochu can sweeten deal with Trump and serve the country. Man, fuck. Man, Hochu ass needs to get Irish whipped into a wall somewhere. You want New York City to recover, at least somewhat of the shadow of his former self? They gotta go. I remember when Hochu was sitting there in New York talking about she was chosen by God to force people to take the vaccine. This is the same woman that was sitting here telling New Yorkers that they need to get electric stoves only because, not because they're more efficient, not because they're safer, not anything like that. Well, they probably are a little bit safer, but not because they're more efficient, not because it saves money. Well, it probably does save a little bit of money, but the reason why is because it was the damn new communist pet project, And so they were trying to push this on all different types of places, and restaurants all around New York said, fuck no, we're not doing that. It makes no sense. Wouldn't even work. Getting in the way. Fire tails through Bronx Buddhist temple, killing monk and visitor as another car blocks fire hydrant in NYC. I don't know why I'm laughing. That's not funny. All right. So I'm gonna. So there was a story. There was somebody broke something to me. Somebody broke something to me that I What is this? Elon Musk claims FEMA sent 59. Okay, so let me type that in. Oh shit! I clicked on a double click. Get out of here. First of all, before I type that, let's see. I want to type something. Hold on. TEA. I just want to see something. I just want to see something. Now, I just did a video just recently on female teachers, how there's a lot of predatory women out there, and no one says anything about this. This goes under the radar, but any other time it's thrown in your face. Oh, men are dangerous. Men are the dangerous ones. Men are the predators. Men are the ones that's doing all of the violence. Which, if we really got the numbers, I spelled teacher wrong. I spelled teacher completely wrong. Let's try that again. Try that again. TEA. There we go. Let's try that again. New York school teacher launches unhinged anti-Trump triad. What's this one? High school teacher, 35, accused of having sex with male student. Again, we can't go a day without finding a story, but you got to look for it, of a teacher, a female teacher, preying on somebody who's much younger than they are. And this is just to go to serve what I said before. Women, when they like something, that's what they like. In terms of standards, in terms of morality, in terms of all of that shit about society, all the guidelines, they don't care about none of that shit. That shit is bull. That is completely bullshit. If they think something is cute, it doesn't matter if this person is 20 years old. It doesn't matter if this person is goddamn 8 years old. As long as they can mold and manipulate and change it into the image that they want, that's what they're gonna go for. I'm not gonna read too into this. I just wanna. A Texas high school teacher accused of having sex with a male student turned herself into police this week, all 1 year after she was indicted and a warrant was issued for her arrest, according to reports. Molly Constance Spears, 35, an art and language teacher at Barbers Hill School in Mount Bellevue, was arrested Tuesday and charged with second-degree improper relationship with an educator between educator and student for the incident on June 12th, 2023. Okay, so this is old. Whatever. Okay, let's look at what is it? FEMA. FEMA. All right, let's see what it says. Uh, so a person who actually I talked to, she showed me she showed me a bunch of things about how FEMA just last week has siphoned off, like, how much was it? It was $59 million for illegals in New York City. I just want to read into this. All right, so Trump admin claws back 80 million in FEMA migrant funds from New York City. It's funny as hell. It's funny as hell because wasn't it not too long ago they were literally saying there was no money in New York City? People who live in New York City should be pissed at this. You should be pissed because all that New York City seems to be doing when it comes down to it is pushing their ideology and taking care of people who are not Americans. And I can guarantee this is happening all over the country. All over the country. Remember when they were saying New York is bankrupt? We can't do anything anymore? $59 million. $59 million. Okay, let's get it. The feds clawed back more than 80 million in migrant funds directly from New York City coffers, blindsiding Big Apple officials Wednesday, and setting up a potential battle between Mayor Eric Adams and his recent benefactor, President Trump. Adam vows to press the White House to recoup the controversial FEMA payments, which Department of Government Efficiency honcho Elon Musk claimed is an inaccurately filled tweet. I'm sorry. Sorry. um, which Department of Government Efficiency honcho Elon Musk claim is an accuracy filled tweet this week has been wasted on luxury hotels in New York. Hold on. So was this the one when it was 59 million? Yep. So, and this is exactly what I said to my friend that morning. I said to her, she was showing me a bunch of things, and I basically said to her, listen, take your time with that, find evidence, don't just jump on the story, because you have idiots that are on the left who jump at anything in their shadows, and you got idiots on the right who do the same exact thing, and they can't even see how crazy they look to each other. They only see what each other do, but they can't see how crazy they look with what they do. And then you have people in the middle that get they this is their entertainment. They love watching the world burn. The people that's in the middle. So the people who are not even radical on the left or the right, there's people in the middle who just take enjoyment in watching the world fucking burn. Forget the people on the left that want the world to just fucking burn as well. And I'm pretty sure there's people on the far right that wants the world to burn. But there are people in the center that will literally just make up shit, and the left will run with it and the right will run with it. So just wait. And I told her in my own words, I said, more than likely, it's much more. I said more than likely, it's much more. She will confirm it when she sees this video. So it's not 59 million. It's they just pulled 80 million. Even when I'm half sleeping, I'm always right. I'm always right, Prissy. I'm always right. Anyway, the feds clawed back more than 80 million in migrant funds directly from New York coffers, blindsiding the Big Apple. Autumn vowed. Okay, so here we go. This week has been wasted on luxury hotels in New York, a city to house illegal migrants. This morning, our office learned about the federal government clawing back more than 80 million in FEMA grants applied for and awarded under the last administration, but not dispersed until last week, Adams said in a statement. Well, tough shit. While we conduct an internal investigation into how this occurred, our office is already engaged with the White House about recouping these funds, and we requested an emergency meeting with FEMA to try to resolve the matter as quickly as possible. So let me tell you why this should piss you off as if you're in New York or just as an American. You have people that are in these shelters. Okay, so first and foremost, the shelter systems in the United States are fucking terrible. They waste a whole bunch of money, and I can specifically, strictly speak about the New York City hotels because I was unfortunate to have spent a large portion of my life in the shitty shelters, and I wasn't just there doing what most of these guys are doing, which is it's basically a revolving door, which they don't care about these individuals coming in, and you got different types of individuals, but a lot of these individuals really do need some type of help, and New York City is failing them. They would rather spend $300 a day on, and these are not hotels. And the way that you think that they're hotels, these are not extravagant hotels. They are retrofitted to become shelters. So all of the shit that was in these shelters at one point, which I was there when they were actually hotels that was turned into shelters, and there was still the TVs and the king size, the queen size beds, not king size, but like the twin beds or whatever like that, and the spot, like all of these nice things, and then it slowly gets shaken. You really think a hotel is gonna stay a hotel when you got mentally deranged people walking back and forth doing crazy shit inside of the hotel? Everything that was a luxury in there is getting destroyed. So yes, when you see these buildings prop up brand new in these shelters, I mean, you see these brand new facilities being built where they're showing state of the art gyms and stuff. Mind you, for homeless people, which for the most part were illegals at this time, right? They're not gonna stay pristine. They're gonna change them really quickly because the mentally ill, the dangerous, the criminal element can't be around those type of environments. They'll start using them as weapons. This is just how it is. Anyway, but yeah, these places are not these lavish hotels that you think that they are. They're not. But again, it doesn't change the fact that even in these places where they basically transforming them into basic these shelters, which are hotels, so it's 2 man to a room type thing or 3 man to a room, unless it's like one of those really bad shelters. Um, they would still rather spend $300 a night for people in 2 man rooms. $300 a night. Again, I just need you to think about that. $300 a night for a room. for two individuals that can be split among two individuals who are working, who are hardworking citizens, right? Probably giving them a stipend. Let's say that instead of spending damn near $2,000 just about every week, right? On these fucking rooms where they just keep people who are doing everything that they need to do. Because the truth of the matter is, over 60, I think it's like 70% of the people in the shelter system are eligible to work, or at one time when I was in the shelter system, were working. The truth of the matter is, a lot of Americans, unfortunately, are living paycheck to paycheck. It can happen to damn near anybody. You don't need to be a junkie. You don't need to be a burnout. You don't need to be a criminal to end up in the shelter. It can happen to anyone. Anyone. So instead of wasting all of that money on subpar meals and these rooms, they can literally give these people like $600 a week as a stipend or whatever the hell it is because of the situation that they came from. Let them get on their feet, you know? I'm not for the communist type angle, but there's other parts of the world where they're like, yo, we'll help you find jobs and help you with your place of living instead of you ending up on in the shelter. These people would rather us be in a revolving door because the truth of the matter is they don't mind spending money because they're gonna get money. They get more money than they spend. So if they are okay spending $300 a night for two shit stains or two people who they would rather just sit there in the shelter and rot away for the rest of their lives, because they're not really helping these people. They got a quota, but it's a revolving door, right? If they're okay with spending $300, whatever, instead of helping these people get out of the shelters and helping them permanently find housing, how much do you think that they're getting? They were getting 80. That's crazy. Again, you should be upset as an American. You should be upset if you worked your ass off and you seen illegals get housing. If you worked your ass off and you're wondering why your child's school is crumbling and falling apart. If you're working your ass off and you notice your kids' books in the school are not up to standard, you know what I'm saying? You can't find jobs, right? You can't find proper training for jobs, or they don't want to train you and all of this shit. If you're upset about this, if that bothers you, then yes, this should upset you. But the mayor's pledge didn't name or appeal directly to Trump. A conspicuous omission that came just days after the Department of Justice ordered prosecutors to drop their federal corruption cases against him, and a move even his own allies feared would make him a hostage to the new president. Trump from the Oval Office defended seizing the money. This is a massive fraud that's taking place, Trump claimed. His statement digressed into complaints about judges and offered a rationale for pulling the funds that contradicted much of what the officials said about the money. And then you have judges that are activists, and they sit there and they say, well, as an example, 59 million is going to a little small group in New York City. They sent 59 million to New York City for a hotel for a little bit of nothing. What they done, a hotel that was not a luxury, that's getting luxury rates for migrants, where they're making a fortune, and we catch them. So mind you, if this is, here's the thing. I'm hoping that's for all shelters in New York City, and that's not like just like one group of shelters in an area in New York City. Because then what that says is that this is happening multiple times in different places. But again, you got people in North Carolina still sleeping in tents. The people over there in California after the fires, they couldn't even get help. The people of Maui, look at how they did them dirty. They try to run a fucking the acorn scan with the Rock and Oprah Winfrey. Even though Oprah Winfrey can pay for all of those houses to be fixed herself. Come on now. Anyway, um, but a judge says, well, even though it may be fraud, you have to send the money anyway. Send the money, I said. We have money that shouldn't go because we caught it before we sent it, but they want the money to go anyway. You know what? Nah, bro. We got to get these judges out of here. We got to get the judges out of here. And the only people running defense for these fucking judges are the woke people. It's really I saw a post this morning where a guy was like, I asked this question, but I didn't get a straight answer. Why the fuck is Elon Musk holding press briefings in the White House, and everyone's like, the answer is he was elected to do so. He is the head honcho for the government, the efficiency. I forgot exactly what the name of it is. Right? They gave him a straight answer. He ignored and moved the goalposts multiple times. So this motherfucker got the answer. He just don't want to hear it. He don't want to hear the answer. Elon Musk, right, is the head of government spending and efficiency or whatever it is. I just said that at the top of my head. I don't know if that's the actual name, right? He oversees how the government is spending money. His job is to stop and trim the fat. $80 million is a lot of fucking fat for people that don't even belong in our country. Don't you think? Don't you think? And then you'll have these fucking assholes sit here. I didn't. Why is Elon Musk holding press briefings? Bro, what? What are you talking about? What? Again, you had a problem with that, but the same type of person would have a problem with a goddamn troon in the military. Who's in the military? Can you imagine getting war orders from a goddamn troon? What are you gonna do before you shoot the person? You gonna ask them how they feel about committing jihad, man? Stop it, man. The assertion echoed Musk's tweet yesterday that Doge discovered a 59 million FEMA payment to the Big Apple last week that he implied will go towards housing illegal migrants and luxury hotels. City Hall officials gently rebutted Musk's claim, pointing out that only 19 million of that will be used to reimburse past expenses for housing migrants in hotels, and that it will come from money approved by Congress to help local governments pay for sheltering immigrants. The officials couldn't immediately provide the list of hotels covered by the grant. The FEMA funds offered a $12 a night reimbursement for each hotel room. City officials said, adding most of the 15 odd hotels used by the city to house migrants aren't luxury accommodations. The rest of the money will go towards security, food, and other services for the migrants, officials said. The sudden withdrawal of FEMA funds from the New York City accounts unfolded Tuesday and was discovered by the city comptroller Brad Lander the next morning. Lander quickly shot off a statement accusing Trump and Musk of highway robbery, apparently without informing the Adams administration about the revocation. City Hall officials did not publicly acknowledge the missing funds until after the Post called for comment. Trump's administration officials later confirmed the clawback, contending they were retrieving taxpayer money from being used to pay for hotels for illegal aliens. Americans first. What are you not understanding? You had a free ride for damn near 4 years and some change already. They were doing this shit during Trump's first administration. So what are we talking about right now? Again, on first-hand experience, I can tell you, I seen an illegal in New York say to Americans, say to people in the shelter, I'm better than you. Why do I have to work when I get money, more money than where I came from, to do nothing? Why would I want to work? And content in his slothism. He was completely content. Completely content. And then got the nerve to complain about the food in the shelters not accommodating these people. Secretary Kristi Noem has clawed back the full payment that female deep state activists literally gave to New York City migrant hotels, said Tricia McLaughlin, the Department of Homeland Security's Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs. The total clawback from New York City is actually two separate grants of $58.6 million and $21.9 million, according to the city and federal officials. The payments were made under the shelter and services programs that Congress appropriated $650 million towards in 2024 to help pay back local governments, including New York City, for the costs they shouldered for sheltering migrants who flowed over to the U.S.-Mexico border. So let me get this straight. I remember when this shit stain, let me get this as the thumbnail. This shit stain was sitting here saying, New York City is a sanctuary city, and we're going to take in these people whether you like it or not, because that's what New York does. Now it's Oh, we need to get the taxpayers' money. We need to siphon money from other places and give it to illegals for the bullshit we done. Nothing in life is free. And now you're paying for it. You have our people paying for it, and you still want to keep going with it. This is the reason why we want them going. Nothing in life is free. You learned this in Uno. You make a mistake, that's two for your mistakes. There's nothing free in this world, and they just want to take money from wherever that they can get. I remember the conversation. Oh, well, Merrick Adams is just like us because he's black. Man, shut up, bro. Shut up. The program is actually funded by U.S. Customs and Border Protection, but run jointly by the two agencies using FEMA's infrastructure to dole out the grants. The funds, unlike others handled by FEMA, aren't disaster relief. New York applied for and was awarded the grants last year under the Biden administration as city officials scrambled for federal help to pay for the massive cost of the migrant crisis, which is now $7 billion. Still, the payment resulting in the firing of four FEMA officials involved in sending over the money. Lander, and a hastily organized news conference, rallied about the Trump administration taking back money that the feds had already agreed to pay. This is the federal government already having this is the federal government having already accoladed, authorized, awarded, invoiced, and paid 80.5 billion to the city of New York, he said. And Elon Musk, with no legal authority, seizing it back from the city of New York. It is highway robbery and they can't stand for it. Now the feds were even able, how the feds were even able to snatch the money back is unclear to Lander. You want to know why? I can tell you why. Because for the last 4 years, the administration in America has been a shadow government. And now that there's competent people at the fucking helm, actually doing shit, actually making calls and making shots, playmakers, y'all don't know what the fuck to do. Good. You deserve this. We really had a shot. You really think Joe Biden was pushing policies in America? You think Joe Biden was? You think Joe Biden had the facilities? And it's crazy. This is the first time I'm saying it that Joe Biden. Every time they would sit there and they would say things about Joe Biden, I always found it as low hanging fruit, and I would just be like, hey, maybe he just has a stuttering problem. Hey, it's not right. Let's actually get him on the stupid shit that he does, not his little hiccups here and there. You really think Joe Biden, because they'd be like, oh, he has dementia and all of this other shit. I'm like, hey, listen, I'm not the type of person to do that. Hey, but what about Michelle Obama? She's never had a picture of her being pregnant. That's a man. I'd be like, what? Uh, well, you know what I'm saying? But listen, first time I'm saying it, you really think Joe Biden had the facilities to be running America as the figurehead of America? You really think that he was the one that was making these policies happen? You think he actually believed in any of these policies he were doing? Really? They ran a coup against Biden. Are you kidding me? Man, listen. They blindsided that old senile man. Are you kidding me? Um, I'm sorry. When asked how the federal government has access to pull money from New York City account, Deputy Controller Christy Olson simply said, "The Post." Good question. Wait, hold on. Let me read back up this. If you asked me yesterday, does the federal government have the capability of seizing money back from the city of New York's bank accounts, I would have said I had to get back to you. Said, okay, whatever. New York City cannot take this lying down. What are you talking about? You're not talking for New York City. You're talking for the people. You're talking for the elites of New York City. You're not talking for New York City. Go talk to New Yorkers and see how they feel about this. They are fucking. Go talk to a New Yorker how they feel about Trump taking money that was funding illegals and see what they say. They don't give a fuck about those goddamn illegals. The only ones that are gonna be upset are the well-off, privileged commie kids or commie adults who they're just fucking batshit insane, they're too far gone, or other illegals. And then there's another conversation and action that should take place once you find out that they're an illegal. Hey, it is what it is. ICE got a job to do. Stop it. Anyway, in his own statement, I call on the mayor to immediately pursue legal action to ensure the tens of millions of dollars stolen by Trump and Dodge are rightfully returned. If Mayor Adams continues to be President Trump's pawn, my office will request a working partnership with the New York City Law Department to pursue legal action. Mm. In his own statement, Adams said city officials asked for emergency meeting with FEMA and alluded to potential litigation. The mayor's carefully worded response was arguably more cautious than his past statements about the Biden administration for not paying their fair share for the migrant crisis. Yeah, because he knows that Trump ain't playing that shit. Adams had railed that the 140 million funding received from Biden as of late 2023 was so paltry. He claimed it contributed to sweeping cuts in city services. Bro, imagine New York fucking City, right? The eye of the world, the city that never sleeps, right? All that tourism. Everybody comes to New York. It's a fucking tourist trap. It ain't shit over here. It's more gay than anything. But yes, everything is in New York City. You mean to tell me New York City is not generating enough revenue that they need the government handouts? So what that tells you is no matter how big something is, if a parasite is leeching off of it, eventually the host is going to get too weak from the parasite getting fat off of the blood of the host. How much have these parasites been fucking up New York that New York needs help from the government? We should never have to need help from the government unless it's an emergency, like them boys and girls in North Carolina or over there in California, or the ones who still recovering from Maui. $80 million. You know, 5 million could have went to the people in North Carolina to start helping those people out. Maybe give them a little bit more than $500 in a fucking loan from your cackling. I'm gonna be president. I put my collard greens in the tub. I'm blackity black, y'all. I'm black, y'all. I'm also Asian and Jamaican and Indian and white and Japanese and Filipino. Again, this shit is crazy. Giving out loans to people that you giving out loans to people that lost everything. Meanwhile, she's walking around with a fucking 600. Her belt costs more than the loan they were giving to people that lost everything. Let that shit sink in. Kamala Harris's belt that she wears costs more than the loans that they have to pay back to people who lost everything. And here's the kicker. They were avoiding people that they knew were Trump supporters. They got caught red-handed for that. But they're also giving out money to these fucking elite, man. This is the best thing that could have ever happened for America was Trump being president. I'm not a glazer. I'm not a glazer. I want America to succeed no matter who's at the helm. But who else but Trump can do this right now? Who else? Let's look at some of these comments. It's 430 comments. Here we go. New York Post, you gotta fix this shit. This shit is annoying, bro. This article says that Mux was incorrect to say that all of it was going to luxury hotels. It doesn't clarify that some of the hotels aren't luxury, and some of these funds go to other ways to feed, house, and clothe people who are not citizens of American taxpayer dollars. When you say someone is incorrect, it is important to lay out how they are incorrect. I'm sorry, to lay out how they are incorrect and how they are correct. The word games from the press cause too much confusion among the public. I don't care how nice the hotel is. New York City chose to be a sanctuary city. So its citizens should have to pay for that decision. New York City did not choose shit. If you went into a room of 100 New Yorkers and asked them if they care about illegals or housing them or being a sanctuary city, overwhelmingly, 80% of them would be like, fuck no. Majority, even the blacks that don't care about nothing but themselves, they will literally sit there and say, fuck them. You have Spanish people that go, hey, they not like us. We American, they not like us. They gotta go back home. It is only the commies, it is only the broke bucking blacks, right? The wokies, the white people that are super duper tolerant that want to be the heroes of the world because they think that they're what's that girl from Game of Thrones? The dragon girl, the breaker of chains, the fucker of cousins, the fucker of nephews. The one that went batshit crazy. What's her name? Targaryen. It is only those types, as she's floating amongst a whole bunch of black people and illegals as the sole white savior. It is only those people who will sit there and say they care about the world and then get fucking snatched up and kidnapped by an illegal. It is only those people who sit there and say that. The people who sit there and say, "Oh, I'm not scared of New York. I'm not scared of being in New York because there's people all around the place," and then get viciously punched in the face by a homeless deranged man or a gangbanger or some shit. It is only delusional reality benders that are okay with it. But overwhelmingly, New Yorkers will say, "Fuck them. We didn't ask for this shit." Anyway, whoa. Lauder has stated above is running for mayor, so this fits right in line with that. This is not New York City's money, it is the taxpayers' money. As a taxpayer, I would like an accounting for how and where this money is being spent. Lauder is a fair left progressive, and I wouldn't trust his stewardship of public funds an inch. FEMA is for emergency management, not for giving money to further Sanctuary City efforts for illegal aliens. Well, you'd be surprised. FEMA ran out of money for North Carolina, supposedly, because they gave all of those monies to LGBT organizations. Explain to me why FEMA is giving out money to people who are not in danger, not experiencing a crisis, not experiencing a disaster. They're just giving out preferential treatment to people who they claim to be minorities or the oppressed. How weird is that for them to designate who's the oppressed and who's not? And then when a real disaster caught them off footed or flat footed or whatever the fuck you want to call it, off balance, they got caught with their pants down and got away with it. Um, FEMA is an emergency management, not for giving money to further Sanctuary City efforts for illegal aliens. All of these billions of dollars being spent by the city to assist people that are breaking the laws of the U.S. but can barely address and fund programs to assist the lawful citizens of New York City. The city council, wants to spend the money of New York City on criminals. I'm sorry, what? The city council wants to spend the money of New York City on criminals, and that is something their citizens wants. Bro, I can't read your sentence, bro. You got a bunch of likes, but your sentence don't even make sense. I'm gonna try it one more time. Hold on. If the city council wants to spend the money of New York City on criminals, and that is something their citizens want, then do you? Oh, okay. I don't know how I'm able to do how my brain is reading this. My brain can read it, but I don't want to read it. Then do you? But don't expect the citizens that don't live in New York City to fund your efforts. And I'm sitting here telling you the citizens of New York City don't want to do that. And this comes from being a personal proxy in New York City. They don't want that. This is just another sad example of the Democrat Party wanting to continue illegal immigration and human trafficking for their political gain. I don't think we will ever really know how much money is made to support this harmful policies. What's interesting is that they are telling on themselves. Of course they are. It's highway robbery that New York City expects American taxpayers to pay for New York City's decision to house and support illegal immigrants. We Americans demand that our tax dollars go towards projects that benefit Americans. 80 million would be nice to help the victims of Helena and California fires. See, and this is the thing that kind of fucking kills me because you have people that are what's that shit called, like dehumanizing, right? New York City was the closest it's ever been to voting red in the last election. If you really break down the people who are in New York City, they don't support these lefty, this heavy lefty policies or whatever. Like they don't support that shit. When BLM was at its highest point, and supposedly the city came out for New York City. Oh, I mean the city came out for BLM. Overwhelmingly, people was at work. People were not participating in that stupid shit. They was actually doing what they do as human beings, doing what they have to do as adults, being adults. These people didn't vote for this. And by you sitting there just saying, oh, well, if New York City wants that, then that's what New York City wants. Yes, okay, so that's also what you think everybody in California wants. That's also what you think people in Texas want. Because there's a lot of places in Texas. There's a lot of places in Florida. There's a lot of places everywhere where people are not with the shit, but they're getting shitted on by these cities. It's not the people that's doing it. I literally just covered a story just recently where was it at? that you had like this LGBT meeting to try to turn the city to a sanctuary city, and it got voted to turn to a sanctuary city, but everybody that was there saw how batshit insane it was? Let me let you in on something. It is not because whatever city it is voting a certain way that they want it. You want to know why voting is so fucked, and the reason why so much bullshit happens is because when it comes down to voting for something, the normal people that see the bullshit are the ones that don't vote. They're the ones that expect that other people see the bullshit and they're gonna vote on their behalf to stop the bullshit. You know who's going to vote? The radicals. You know who's going to be pushing the agenda? The radicals. They're the ones that are so wrapped up in this bullshit that they're going to be there, rain or shine, screaming, no justice, no peace. My body, my choice. They're the ones that can commit insurrections and get away with it consistently. Take over government buildings, city buildings, and get away with it. It's by design. Majority of people don't even vote in New York City, but the radicals will. The radicals will sit there and look at somebody like AOC and be like, yeah, we like her. Not because of the shit that she stands for, but just because we know that she's a commie and she's on our side. She probably doesn't believe half of the shit, but you know what? If it's to push the agenda, that's what we're going to do. And they're going to accept her. Of course they will. So when you sit there and you say shit like, "Oh, New York City voted for it. Fuck it. We should just make what's that shit? What's the shit that they've been saying also that been pissing me off? uh, uh, if they want to, we should just allow them to make autonomous zones wherever that they want, separate from separate from the United States. Yes, give your enemies land on your land, and watch that little bit of land become another land, and then another land, and then another land. Now you have a fucking complete country divided because you allowed them to keep getting inches. Makes no fucking sense. I don't understand that when the budget is put together, why each politician's initials are not included with the pork included. Why isn't it done by computer? Where can it be traced to a specific politician, for example? What politician put the pork on the budget for lizards on the treadmill? Wait, what? What? Who added the DEI funding to allow our tax dollars to go to different countries and pay for musicals, for plays and musicals? Stop the government waste and fraud. When the pork is hidden, then uncovered like Musk is doing, the Democrats scream it was funded by Congress. I am grateful for Musk and his crew for using software to expose the fraud, but we need more accountability that prevents the pork into the budget in the first place. As I said, this is not nothing new. Transparency is very important. This is the reason why I've been saying for the longest time. If you really want to see how elections really go, the next time people vote, when you vote, you should get a number. You should get a number, and when you get that number, you should be able to see six numbers before you, six numbers after you. And you should be able to see the way that they voted, not their names, but their numbers. Everybody should get a fucking number. And you should be able to see with that ticket which way you voted and which way on what six numbers ahead of you, six numbers behind you. So that this way, at any point in time, somebody can look at these numbers and go, I voted this way. But on the computer, it says that I voted this way. Then we'd be like, that's fraud. This is the time that I voted. This is the time that it should have been calculated. And these are how we voted. When you vote from now on, there should be cameras. There should be cameras watching the votes at all times to make sure that we don't get a Joe Biden special in the middle of the night like we had before. And you know another thing? Also, when you're voting, just like how the numbers pop up, you when you get that number, it should be put in there right then and there. No late mail-in voting bullshit. We didn't have mail-in voting before. Need to get rid of that shit. Transparency is important. None of the machines that are voting should be connected to the internet. Of course not. But again, we need to have some type of we need to have transparency. Period. I know that that was rough the way I explained it, but I have it in my head, all right? In my head, it works. All right. Anyway, guys, that's the video. Catch you guys next time. Thank you, Prissy, for bringing this to my attention, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.